Okay, I'm live. Mic check. I'm just testing my microphone. Okay, so let me see. I don't want to sit. Okay, right. So I just posted on Instagram that I'm going live in 5 minutes, but I am just checking the making sure everything's working before it, people start showing up. Just in case anyone's here, right. Okay, so bear with me. I am right. Just gonna wait for a few more people to show up. And yes, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me on day 2 challenge go live. It's actually quite fun, at the same time very nerve-wracking. Okay, but yes, so I'm just going to share it on my Facebook in case people are awake and they can join me. Let's see, because obviously the aim of this challenge is to engage with as many people as possible, share our stories, share the things that we love to talk about and things like that. So I'm just going to be posting that up here now. It's on. I've got that. Okay. So, all right, camera angles. Let's just adjust that and see how that goes. Is that better? I don't know. Right. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just going to be really comfortable. I'm just going to be really relaxed because today I'm going to be talking about my VBAC experience. And you know what? I remember after I had Isaiah, I remember posting this up on YouTube, but it never went. I don't understand. I never understood why that story never got uploaded. So, everything happens for a reason, eh? Everything happens for a reason. So, right. So, thank you. Oh, hi. Someone can hear me. Hi, Kat Johnson. Thank you. Okay. Right, I'm just gonna go straight into it and just really share today's day two topic. Right, so today I'm talking about my VBAC experience, and this is something that is really dear to my heart. Funny enough, it's really, really dear to my heart, and it's something that I have over the years I've grown really passionate about. Other people having experience. Being able, shall I say, to have the experience, because you know what they say to us: once you've had a C-section, always a C-section. And 3 pregnancies right up until my 4th pregnancy, that was the case. And I was so close to allowing that to be my story, that once I've had a C-section, always a C-section kind of thing. But in 2014, when we fell pregnant for Isaiah, and I found that I was having another baby, I remember getting down and on my knees and praying and saying, Lord, Lord, this pregnancy has to be a vaginal birth. I am not having another C-section. I mean, don't get me wrong, C-sections are good. They it's something that doctors have created to deliver babies safely if complications arise. I mean, some mothers have, not survived a C-section because it is a surgery. It's a major surgery. All of you that have experienced this will know that having a C-section is no joke. If you're watching this and you have had a C-section and they've told you that you've had 2 C-sections, so the next one has to be a C-section, I am here and I'm living proof to tell you that does not have to be the case. That does not have to be your story. However, there's also the the fact that one has to be realistic, one has to really understand their body. A woman has to a very challenging process to actually go through to say that you're attempting to have a vaginal birth after they've cut you open 2-3 times, once even. Generally, they normally say after you've had one C-section, they will allow you to try for another one. But once you've had 2 C-sections, that's it. It's like you're done. They're not willing to give you that opportunity. And many consultants, many doctors, even midwives have a fear of tackling a woman who is on that path to saying, you know what, I don't want to be cut up in anymore to have a baby. I want this baby to come out the way, they're created to come out in a sense. So so in 2014, we found out we were pregnant, and straight away I was like, I'm not having a C-section. I said to my husband, hun, I'm not having a C-section with this pregnancy. There's no way. And don't forget, guys, I've had 3 C-sections. Okay, 3 C-sections. So my first C-section was in 2001 with our eldest, and then the second C-section was in 2007 with our second child, who didn't make it home. That's another story. I will be sharing that at another time. I don't really want to get into it. It's quite emotional. And then Johanna, funny enough, I went into labor with Johanna, got to the hospital. When they found out that I had 2 previous C-sections, they were like, she's dilating. Get her into theatre, quick. She's like 4 or 5 centimeters. She's dilating really quickly. And then they, undressed me and gave me the epidural thing and all that stuff. And boom, there I was having a C-section. Even though I was scheduled for a C-section for Johanna, we wasn't planning on her coming. Like, I didn't have the slightest clue that I was actually going to go into labor with her. So that was quite intense, and it was really interesting, funny enough. And my body just went into overdrive. Like, literally, I had like a nosebleed at the time. My temperature went sky high, and you know what? Having that C-section was not a problem. I was actually really grateful, funny enough, that I had that C-section, because the way my body was reacting so rapidly, I didn't even know what to think. And remember, I'm on my 3rd baby, but I've never had a vaginal birth, so I don't have a clue of what I'm supposed to do, right? I've always had C-sections. So that happened, and then so Johanna came happy, pregnancy, everything was good. I always have really good pregnancies, you see. But then, only God knows why I've had those C-sections. And you know what? Sometimes I think I've had those C-sections to share this story, to let people know that even if you have had a cesarean, and your heart's desire is to give birth naturally, one way or the other, it's possible. Okay, doctors, yes, they're there, they're qualified, they know what they're talking about to some degree, but they don't have the final say. Okay, doctors do not have the final say. I mean, if you're watching this and you have any questions, okay, it is, I'm here to not just share my story, but I'm here to discuss with you as well. If you've got any questions about it, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I will be more than happy to answer them, because during my pregnancy, I think I spent a solid 6 or 7 months investigating, looking, reading, researching, and really going in on how to have a successful VBAC. Again, when I say VBAC, it stands for vaginal birth after C-section. So my husband said to me, he said, Sarah, if this is what you want, I will stand in faith with you, and I will believe with you that this will be the outcome, that you will have this natural birth, that we will have this natural birth. Because, we have to remember that when a woman is pregnant, when it's her time, it's not just her time, it's hers, it's the husband's time. If they have other children are there to experience and enjoy that moment as well. So a woman's never on her own on this journey. Obviously, there are women who are on their own, and we continue to pray that strength be their portion. Because believe me, if you have had a baby, regardless of which way you've delivered that baby, you know the work that goes in. So let's continue to pray for women that are standing alone on these journeys, and pray for support and strength for them. So pregnancy is going on well, and then I as soon as I started having my midwife appointments, I said, look, I'm not having a C-section, I'm having this baby naturally. They laughed, they thought, ha ha ha, really kind of thing. When when you're sitting in the appointment with the consultant and they're like, I don't really know about that, darling, but they don't want to say to you. They're just kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, no problem. They're just we'll just go with the flow. We'll give her a C-section anyway, kind of thing. But yeah, so I'm carrying on, and the funniest thing is, I knew that this was actually going to be a battle. I actually knew this was going to be a challenge, and it wasn't going to just be so simple, because what I was attempting to do, hear this, guys, hadn't been done before. Okay, it hadn't been done before. I spoke to my consultants, the midwives, when you go for appointments, and they look at you going, what do you think you're doing trying to have a natural birth? You've been cut 3 times. Are you being serious, kind of thing? But at the end of the day, my thing was, I'm not operating on your faith. I'm not operating on your belief. This is what I want. I'm standing with my God. I'm standing with my husband. We are believing for this. So this will be our outcome. And, sometimes in life, you really have to understand that if you want something, you have to believe for it. Others will come and shake you. The storm will come and move you. But you have to be able to say to yourself, you know what? This is what my house is believing for. This is what I'm going to achieve at the end of this. So thank you, Stels. So that's where I was. I really had to surround myself with faith, and had to surround myself with the right talk. That positive self-talk is also so important. And you know what? If you're watching this and you haven't had a baby yet, if you're watching this and you are pregnant, if you're watching this and you've had a C-section, and you're hoping that one day when you get pregnant again, you will not have to lie under that lie on that table and be cut open. You have to operate in faith. You have to give yourself a good talking to, because they're going to come and they're going to say to you, oh, look, this is what could happen. You could your uterus could rupture. You could die. The baby could die. They will come with all the negative talk just because they do not want the hassle. And look, you have to remember that sometimes it's not the fact that you can't do it, it's the fact that they don't want you to do it, because apparently it's high risk. And I do this, okay? You might be thinking, oh, Sarah, why are you doing that? Because realistically, what is high risk? And why is it high risk? Is it high risk because you've had 3 C-sections? Is it high risk because you've had 1 C-section? A vaginal birth can be high risk. It can be. If you've given birth to a baby and you've had complications, let me know, because they make it out as if a woman who has already had a C-section is now sort of on a different side of the fence. Okay, they look at you with some kind of a pity if you decide to want to have a natural birth. Okay, well, anyway, let me get on with the story. If you're enjoying this, please let me know, like it, share it, subscribe to my channel. I am doing a 30-day challenge, going live every day for 30 days, talking about things that I care about, talking about things that I know, not just here to just waffle on and just, talk for the sake of talking. So I do want to give something that everybody can take away, and something good to take away. So we get to the point. I'm going to fast forward because remember, I'm pregnant for like 9 months, okay? Just over 9 months, right? My first pregnancy, I was pregnant for a solid 10 months. Yes, 43 weeks. No joke. So anyway, and for those of you that think you cannot be pregnant for 10 months, believe me, it's possible once you go past 40 weeks. Yeah, you hit the 10-month mark. Anyway, so I'm going to fast forward. So I get to 37 weeks. guys, 37 weeks. Okay. And I've got my midwife appointment. And then after the midwife appointment, I have to see the consultant because they class you as high risk. They give you multiple scans. You go to the doctors a lot more regularly than a normal woman who's having a vaginal birth. You're like, I'm in the hospital, I don't know, once every 3 weeks or 4 weeks, let's just say. I'm seeing a consultant or something like that. So anyway, I get to the consultant's office. I'm 37 weeks, guys. I've got like 3 or 4 weeks to go. 37, 38, 39, 40. I've got 3 weeks to go. And I sit down with my consultant and she turns around. She says to me, Sarah, I'm just going to be honest with you. You can't have a VBAC. I wouldn't recommend that you have a VBAC. I got your notes and it says here that your uterus line is thin. And I'm like, my uterus line? This is new. Oh my gosh. Why didn't I know this information before? She completely startled me. She threw me right off. And then she said to me, Sarah, let me give you an example. It says that your uterus line is thin, like paper thin. Guys, let me tell you, yeah, all the self-talk, all the faith, all the ability to have a natural birth went out the window. That very moment, oh my gosh, you know what? As I'm talking to you guys now, the memory of how that consultant dropped it to me, she's not finished. So she said, Sarah, you know what? To be honest, I'm not going to recommend that you have a VBAC. And then she turned around and she said to me, she's just had an experience a couple of weeks ago that she was in operation with another mother who was giving birth, and they had to choose between the mother and the baby, and they had to save the baby, and the mother passed away. So she's now, guys, this consultant, highly paid doctor for many years, is putting her fears on me, right? She's putting her fears on. I mean, this is real, guys, and this happens to us on a daily basis. Okay, this happens to us on a daily basis. You're pregnant, and then they make you feel as if you're not capable, or they make you feel as if you don't know much because they're the qualified ones. But remember, I said that I spent months and months researching on VBAC. So I really was prepared. I really was prepared. And exactly, thank you. I really was prepared. And she came with all this fear and all this drudgery and her faith, and she was just not on it. She just wasn't on it. So she said, you know what, Sarah, I'm sorry. Forget all the fact that you're planning on having a VBAC. I'm booking you in for a C-section on so-and-so day. Right? So she said, I'm booking you in for a C-section. That was it. On the 31st of March, I'm booking you in for a C-section. I think this was like March the 7th or so. It was early March, because I think I had like I said, I had like 3 weeks to go. I was 37 weeks. I'd never forget that. And then she said, oh, from your last scan, the baby is a good weight. The baby's ready to come. We can take the baby out on this day. And guys, I am like this. I'm crying my eyes out in this office. I am bawling. I am weeping because it's like she just ripped every part of hope and faith that I had. She literally dragged it out of me. If you've experienced something like this before, let me know in the comments, because we are not just here to talk about me and my feelings. Share with others and let others know. If you have had hope ripped away from you, just let me know in the comments. Right? So anyway, she says to me, I'm going to send you to the nurse, the senior midwife. Her office is just next door. She's going to book you in for a C-section on the 31st of March. Okay. Here is this pill. This is the pill that you're going to take at 7 o'clock in the morning. You're going to take this before 7 o'clock. You're not going to eat anything. Right? Guys, I'm still weeping. I mean, I was crying uncontrollably, and all she could do was hand over tissues to me and say, "Oh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. I know you wanted to have a natural birth, but that's not going to be the case anymore." Guys, right? So anyway, I'm laughing now, but it wasn't funny at the time. I can guarantee you it was not funny. So anyway, let's just fast forward. So I go to the midwife's office and she looks at me and she says to me, "Are you okay?" And she's just writing down, you know, booking me in and everything. She's booking me in. And then she turns around, she says to me, "You know, she's not allowed to do that. She cannot force you to have a C-section. What she did isn't right." So because this midwife, it was as if she, you know, the Lord just sent her to give me a few comforting words to reassure me and to pick me up again. But believe me, at that point, there was nothing picking up. The only thing that was picking up was the fact that she's booking me in to have a C-section, right? So anyway, I get there and so she books me in and everything. She says, "Look, here's the complaint number if you want to complain, because I don't think what she's doing is right. She's not allowed to do that." I'm like, "Oh, thank you." I can remember her name, but I don't want to say it. I'm like, "Oh, thank you so much. It's okay, blah, blah, blah." Anyway, I get on the bus. I call my husband. He's not picking up. He's at work. So I call my friend and I'm crying down the phone. And she's like, "Sis, listen, they know what's best. They know what's right for you and everything." And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, but I don't want to have a C-section. This isn't what I want." Guys, I was completely broken. Anyway, I'm sure you get the picture, right? So anyway, I get home. And I get my husband brings me back and I'm still crying. I think I cried for over an hour, literally all the way home, right up into the house. I'm still crying. I was so broken. So anyway, my husband gets on the phone. He says to me, "Sarah, listen, what that woman said doesn't have to be the case. Are we standing? Are we believing for this natural birth? Yes or no?" And I'm like, "Yes, we are. We are believing for it." So he says, "Right." So he says, "Well, pick yourself up and get on your knees and pray." He says, "Pray, get back into faith, gear yourself up again. Do not let what this woman's saying to you be the end of this journey." He said, "We're 37 weeks. We're not going to give up now." So I'm just like, "Oh, thank God for a godly husband, right?" So anyway, I pick myself back up and I get on my knees and I pray and I'm like, "God, you know what? Take control of the situation, because if this woman has her way, she's gonna give me this. I'm gonna have this C-section, right?" Anyway, fast forward. I now say, "You know what? I'm done. I'm not having a C-section. I don't care what anybody says." So I didn't go to any more hospital appointments. So then the day I think this was on the 30th of March, I have these midwives come to my door because I didn't show up to any more appointments, because I'm like, "I'm not seeing you people no more. You people ain't, like, you're not in my corner," right? So I'm like, "Look, I'm done. I'm done with all that negativity. You got to keep that somewhere else." So anyway, I open the door and they come in, and that morning I started having contractions, right? I started having contractions, but I remained nice and calm. They came in, they were like, "Oh, Sarah, how are you? You didn't show up to your appointment." I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good." You know, I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." "Are you having any contractions?" "Well, you know what? I've had a little what they call it, guys. It's been so long. A bit of a twitches, whatever you call it, here and there. If you've just had a baby, you remember what the word is, please let me know." Like Braxton Hick things. But yeah, so I was like, "Yeah, but I'm fine." They were like, "Listen, if any sign of contractions, if they get to 3 to 5 minutes apart, you come in. We, don't hesitate, don't do nothing, just come in straight away." I'm like, yeah, sure. Get out my house kind of thing, So anyway, they leave. Twings. Thank you, Frankie. Twings. I was getting those twings, those twinges. Sorry. Thank you. I was getting those twinges, those, it does that kind of thing. Anyway, you know what, guys, to be honest, I love births. I love birth stories. I love pregnancy. I love babies. I love pregnant women. I love the whole pregnancy thing. It's just so me, right? Anyway, so they leave. And as the day progresses, these contractions begin to get stronger. Now, if you was listening, remember they gave me my C-section date was the 31st of March, right? They came and visited me on the 30th of March. I started having these contractions on the 30th of March. So my birth partner, my wonderful sister-in-law, she comes, and me and her are where the day is going and contractions are coming, and everything is happening. And at this point, I have to gear up in faith, guys. I have to, everything that the Lord has placed within me, to be full of faith, to be full of courage, to be purposeful on this journey that I'm about to embark. Mate, believe me, oh my gosh, wow. I'm really just like, I feel like I'm living it all over again. So anyway, the time comes, and I think it's about 3 o'clock in the morning. My husband's having a nap. My husband's sleeping because he knows, like, all night I've had a bath. My sister-in-law, she's there, she's supporting me. Everything is going really strong. The girls are in bed, and things are moving. Anyway, fast forward, just so that this this doesn't take forever and ever. It is a live stream. I can be here as long as I like, but I don't want to bore you guys. Hopefully this isn't boring. If you're enjoying what I'm talking about and you're engaging, just let me know and continue to encourage me on this challenge. Well, anyway, so I think it gets to about 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, Ems, listen, I have to get to the hospital like now. Like, the contractions are getting so strong. We wake up Daddy, get the bags, get to the hospital. I think we get to the hospital just before 5 o'clock in the morning. And we get there, and they took my notes, and they took my clothes off and put this gown on me, and they put me in this thing, and they were doing all these swabs and just checking and everything. Guys, everything was running smoothly until the midwife that morning looked at my notes and saw that I had 3 C-sections previously. You can imagine what she was going through at that point, right? Then she comes in and she says, "Are you having a C-section?" I'm like, no. Listen, all that pain just quickly went for me to answer that. No, I ain't having no C-section. Right? So she was like, well, it says that you've had. I said, I am having a VBAC. She was like, oh, you are? Anyway, so she's like, right, well, this is nothing to do with me. Let me prep you. So she starts prepping me. Woo, she, does the swab and everything. She's like, you're 4 centimeters dilated. I'm like, I am. Whoop-de-doo. Fantastic. Let's keep this moving. Anyway, they get me to they take me to the labor ward, right? So I'm in the labor ward, and listen, I kid you not. It was 8 o'clock in the morning. Just before 8 o'clock, sorry. So I got there at 5, and then they put me in, and then so they assigned a midwife to me her shift was finishing at 8 o'clock. I remember her name. I don't really want to say it because she was not helpful at all, right? So anyway, the midwife who is on shift, who I now come in, and she's now okay, she's going through everything. Anyway, she realizes that I am actually serious about having this VBAC, and she goes into going, in all my years of being a midwife, I have never, ever, ever heard of anything like this. You want to have a natural birth after 3 C-sections. Guys, listen, Missy went in on me. I'm in labor, yo. Guys, seriously, is this what I'm supposed to be going through right now? Should I not be getting stroked and like, oh, what do you want to drink? No, anyway, it's NHS, isn't it? It's not private health. Anyway, so she's now going, she begins to say, oh, listen, they won't allow it. The doctors, they won't allow it. I'm like, what do you mean? She said, Hera, she now went to me. So obviously she could hear the way we were talking and everything. So she was like, is it because of your faith? Is it because of your Christians that you think this is what you should be doing? She said, in all my years of being a midwife, I have never heard of such a thing. I said, well, today you go here, Kilo day, what is it? What's it? Oh, yeah, please let this woman shift her up and end, innit? Anyway, guys, listen, I am just, and you know what? In all of this, I'm like this, please, right? I'm in labor. Anyway, but it was a wonderful experience. Don't get me wrong. I'm having a great time here. Somehow, I guess I'm having a great time. But anyway, so she's now, she couldn't wait to get out of there quicker, guys. She's looking at the clock like, look, 8 o'clock, I need to bounce because I am not delivering this baby. I'm not about to have this experience. Anyway, the consultants in the hospital hear that this woman is here. They all come in. 3 of them arrive into my labor room, right? 3 consultants, guys. Have you ever had 3 consultants come to assist you in your labor? Yes, in the comments. No, in the comments. This was a real special case, guys. This was a real special case. 3 consultants come in and they all now start talking to my husband. This isn't something we think she should do. You know, this is very dangerous. It's a very dangerous thing, blah, blah, blah. And then, even they get one of the consultants gets his mobile phone out and starts showing my husband, this is what a ruptured uterus looks like, by the way, guys. And I think you should really consider what it is you're about to do. We was like, listen, short man syndrome, don't come with all that. Don't come with that negativity. Right? Anyway, my husband and my sister-in-law were locked in faith. The 3 of us are locked in faith. And that's what I want to say to you today. If you're going through something that you know it's a challenge, that you know the world is going to be coming at you left, right, and center, you need to have your partners that are going to be locked in faith with you. Because if you don't, they will tear you apart. They will tear you apart. Because why? They know best. Why? They studied 7 to 10 years for this stuff. Why? Because you don't know any better. You don't know what's right for you. We do. We get paid to tell you what's right for you, kind of attitude, you know. So, and then you just have all of this going on. And listen, guys. So I'm in the room. I can hear all of this going on. I'm like, I just want to give birth to this baby, you know, kind of thing. Like, get them out of here, guys. Get them out. Anyway, one consultant decides to be like, listen, I'm on night shift. I've just finished night shift. I'm out of here. Bye. He leaves. The other one's like, woo, see you later. Bye. Anyway, the third one, he was like an Asian doctor from, I think he was from India. Because when they all left, guys, you see how God works? Listen, God will always be there for you. If you hold on to him, if you cling on to the Most High, if you stand in faith and say, God, take control of this, men do not have the power, okay? God has the power to intercede for you in every way, shape, or form. Listen to this, guys. I will be reading your comments in a moment, but please just stay there. I'm going to be reading your comments, guys. I just don't want to forget my trail of thought on where I am with this story. So anyway, this doctor, he turns around when everybody has left. Oh, by the way, Auntie's still there, yeah, doing all of that head shaking that she was shaking. Anyway, I was just like, I said to my husband, when is she leaving? But more like this, when is she leaving? You know them ones, girls, you've been there, you know how it is. And if you haven't been there, you're going to get there and it's going to be great. It's the best pain you could ever feel in the entire world. Anyway, so he turns around and he says, listen, this is nothing. He said, I'm from India. Your situation is nothing. All we have to do, he said to the midwife, all we have to do is get a catheter bag, put it up attach it to her bladder, right? You know how they attach the vagina to the bag and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to get, it probably sounds a bit gory, but let's just say it as it is. Put the catheter bag through, and basically he said all we have to look out for is bleeding. He said there's a different type, there's 2 types. Obviously there's an intense bleed and there's just natural vagina bleed because you are in labor, right? Anyway, so he now turns around, he says to the midwife, put this catheter bag up her and just keep your eye out on the bag. You know when the bleeding changes and you know when it's normal bleeding and when it's a uterus rupture. Guys, listen to this. That was it. That was it. He said to me, you're going to be fine. You're going to have this baby. You know, when God just wants to send someone, a professional. Yeah, all those professionals that were doing, oh, look at this, look at that. When they all left, the guy turned around and says, listen, you're going to be fine. You're going to have this baby naturally. I don't mind them. They haven't seen anything. Me, I'm from India. I've seen many, many, many worse situations. What is this that you're doing? Oh, please forget them lot, man. You're going to have this baby. Anyway, I thank God for him. And my husband, my sister-in-law, Auntie, her shift's finally finished, so she left, right? Guys, check how God works, yeah? Listen. Let's get some round of applause for the Lord right now. Listen, 8 o'clock finished. About 8:30, 9 o'clock, I hear some talking going on outside my ward, right? It sounds like 2 midwives. Then anyway, one midwife walks in. I'm like this. Guys, remember, I've been in labor I've been having contractions for quite a while now, okay? It was intense. Anyway, so I hear the voice. I hear them speaking. My husband's greeting and my sister-in-law's engaging. And I turn And I look and I open my eyes and I'm like, Bola. And she's like, Sarah. I'm like, no way. We went to school together. She was in my sister's year. She was senior to me, but we all went to the same school. We knew each other. And she was like, oh my gosh, Sarah, can you believe it? You know what? And you know what? She came in like a powerhouse, you know, like, listen, you're going to have this baby. You're going to be great. You're going to do well. Nothing's going to go wrong. Listen, it turned into some kind of heavenly zone. Okay, from turning from Auntie with all her negativity, yeah, to Bola coming in and just having this awesome presence of, you are going to achieve this goal that you and your family have set out. God will always send you helpers. God will always send your helpers. Okay, if you believe and you trust, he will send those people to stand by you and encourage you and to get you through that finish line. Okay, and that's what I experienced on that day. And lo and behold, guys, that day that I gave birth to my son was the 31st of March. That was the day I was booked in for that C-section. Anyway, let's keep moving on with this story. So, you know, it's getting intense and everything. And, you know, we're praying and the vibe is right and everything is running smoothly. It's running great. Then my son arrives. My son comes and I give birth to him naturally. From the time that I got to, I think they say labor kicks off at 6 centimeters. Between the 6 centimeter dilation and giving birth to Isaiah was 4, just almost 4 hours. So is that good for like a first time birth, right? That wasn't bad, right? Wasn't bad. 4 hours. Okay. He came naturally. My first VBAC after 3 C-sections, my son, and he weighed like just under 8 pounds. I didn't tear. I didn't have no complications. I didn't have any extreme bleeding. My uterus didn't rupture, nothing. I didn't even have an epidural, guys. I thought I was on gas and air and it wasn't even working. Okay, I was like sucking on that thing, thinking it was on, but it wasn't on. So I didn't even have any painkillers. Okay, so I wrap this up, right? I'm going to read your comments. Before I wrap this up. Let's just do a little cliffhanger here. Actually, the cliffhanger's already gone in it. I had the baby in it. Like, duh. I had him. Guys, listen, it was one of the most emotional days of my life. I've had many emotional days. If you're watching this and you know me, you know I've had many emotional days. And it was one of the best days of my life. I remember my husband cut the umbilical cord, and for him, it was amazing. He was like, "Hun, the head! I could see the head." It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. But you know what? It was like I really felt like that wasn't just for me. That moment wasn't just for me. It wasn't just for me to experience that moment. It was for my husband as well. It was for him to see that, you know, with God, we can do all things. And having his first son, because our son passed away, having his son delivered into his hands and him cutting that umbilical cord and his wife doing what we set out to do. It was a marvelous experience. And my sister-in-law was amazing. Oh my gosh, love her. She was the best. I could not have asked for a more pleasant, a more strong, a more God-fearing birth partner. Emma did so good by us, you know. And then, by the way, guys, I had these consultants coming in later on to congratulate me. Oh, you know them one, but you know you're saved and sanctified. You're like, oh, all glory to God. Get out. All glory to God, but you can get out now. You know those ones, right? Anyway, let me read your comments. Guys, if this has blessed you, if this live stream has blessed you, if you feel like you can relate and, you know, there was a fruit in this conversation, you know, please let me know. It's so encouraging to see the live chats and see what everyone's saying. So You have to bear with me. The comments just came right, like just came in, you know. So anyway, so we have here, oh gosh, yeah, that auntie, trust me. I'm going to read off my phone. I'm going to read off my phone so I don't have to be looking down, so I can still look at y'all and smile. Kat Johnson said, we can hear you. Still said, that's right. Frankie O said, you must have been the healthcare professional's biggest nightmare. Listen, I think I was. I think I really was. Laugh out loud. We tend to push our patients to do things our way to make things easier for us. So I'm guessing Frankie is in the healthcare professional. And did you hear that, guys? Did you hear that? She said that they tend to. They don't always, because it's a tend to push patients to do things their way, because it does make life easier for them. And Stella says, she came to give you horror story. Yes, she really did. That's right. Kat Johnson says, just trying to shake your faith. And that's exactly what listen, I kid you not, she accomplished that day. I'm not going to make it out like she did. She really accomplished that day. You know, thank you guys so much for in the comments. FO says, she's putting fear in your head. She didn't just put fear in my head. That day, she really screwed it in. Like it was, I mean, listen, I had to pray and really, I had to cry it out. You know, have you ever had to cry something out? To just really, it was the tears and the prayer and the reassurance from my husband that removed that from me. No joke, guys, no joke. Stella says she can't do that, but she did. Healthcare professionals scare patients so much just to make their lives better. Stella says the choice is yours at your own risk. But you know what? It's funny, but it got to the point where she was like, honey, this is not at your own risk. We're making this decision. We're scrapping your idea of what it is you think you're about to do here. I'm gonna share something in a minute. Frankie said it's true. Sitting there contracting and you're like, nah, I'm good for sure. You know, you got to be strong. They were scared, laugh out loud. That's why they came to your house. And you know what? I was thinking to myself, did I ask you to come? I didn't have an appointment. They were like, oh, you missed your appointment. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not coming to the hospital. I'm fine. Get out. Very interesting. Enjoying it, says Kat Johnson. Thank you. Panic mode. You scared her. Laugh out loud. She wanted to get rid of you quick. Yeah, listen, the way when she saw my notes and she was like, 3 C-sections. Bye. Let me just strap you up quick and send you away. Go. That's exactly what she did. I'm glad you guys are really enjoying this, and I'm seeing lots of smiles and laughter on the chats. Thank you so much. One anti-midwife. Yes, Frankie. Listen, this woman, I was like, I bet she goes church as well, you know. You when you're just like you're now saying to me, oh, is it because of your, oh yeah, that was what she said. She says, not because of your faith, not because of what you believe, doesn't mean you shouldn't use wisdom or something like that. She weren't on it. She could. I'm glad her shift finished at 8 o'clock. Stelzer says, no, not Google. I can't with you. Short man syndrome, you know. Wow, very unprofessional consultants have no shame. Can't be using your phone for YouTube video. Listen, they were like, look at this. Talk to your wife. Tell her that she shouldn't do it. Listen. Wow. That's all I can say. Still says, still there. Isn't it after 8 p.m? Shift done, fam. Get out. Listen, she was there well after 8 o'clock. All there still trying to talk to somebody. Yep, the best pain. Love labor pains. Frankie says she loves labor pains. Yes, I love it. Sunita Arnold. Now listen, guys. Sunita, if you're watching this, we share a bond. And Sunita also has a testimony. Hopefully I'll be able to get her on the show one day and share her story, just so that we can continue to encourage women, because we need that encouragement. We do, because you know, when we're in a position where we feel like we don't have the education, we don't have the knowledge, we allow people to take control. And that's not how it should be. She says, I thank God for you. With your support and encouragement, I wouldn't have been able to persevere in having a natural birth after 2 C-sections. It's in the comment, guys. Yes, she did. Frankie's laughing. Yes, yes, pro. Kat says, praise God. He always comes through. Amazing. Glory be to God. Frankie says, glory be to God. Faith. God is faithful. And yes, yes, M's. Guys, listen. You know, the day that he came, it showed me that anything is possible. One, if you put your mind to it. Two, if you have faith and you believe in God. Three, if you don't just have faith, but you act at the same time. You know, the scripture talks about, you know, faith and works. You know, you have to combine these things. You have to not just believe that you can do something, but action it out. Okay. If you're watching this and there's something that you've been wanting to do for a long time, I really feel like there are women, there are people out there, and you have a dream, you have something that is there on your heart. I mean, one of my dreams, you know, to some people it'd be like, how can that be a dream? No, it was. For me, it was. I'm like, I'm not getting cut open no more. And actually, the funniest thing is what I said was, if I ever get pregnant, I'm having a natural birth. And I think I prophesied that to myself like years before, I guess. And so the minute I found out I was pregnant, I knew that was what I'm looking into. And, you know, if you're watching this and you're not so sure, find a few people that you can lock in faith with, because it might be people around you that are going to be able to carry you and lift you up and push you and continue to say to you, yes, you can do this. Yes, you can do this. Even this YouTube challenge, you know, it was just one of those things where, you know, you want to do things, but you just need that extra push. If you are watching this tonight and you need that extra push and you need to operate in faith and you need to walk in faith and you have something that you want to accomplish, put your mind to it. 2020 has been a tough year. As I'm doing this challenge, I'm thinking to myself, what am I going to do for 2021? What do I want to do for 2021? What outcome do I want from that new year that is coming? You know, so yeah, guys, you know, just walk by faith and not by sight. If I walked by sight, that dreaded that day where she said to me, Missy, you're having a C-section, darling. I'm so sorry, Sarah, but you know, we just can't let you do this. You know, it's just absolutely imperative. You know, it's just one of those things. It's very risky. And then I don't want to be in the position where I have to choose between mother and child. I just experienced that not long. You know, those ones. Nah, listen. You know, them like it should have been like water on duck's back, isn't it? But anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me on this live show, on this live talking about my VBAC experience. And, you know, I'm so grateful for each and every one of you that have taken out this time. It's you know, 28 days left, 27 tomorrow. And, you know, I pose this to you watching. What can you do in the next 27 days? Or what can you do in the next 30 days? We've got 27 days until the year is finished. What do you want to achieve? Do you want to, my banner, my background here, my husband's been warning me, is like, Sarah, don't knock that thing down, because if it comes down, honey, if it comes down, you know, one of those things. But yeah, so yes, so, you know, what do you want to do in the next 27 days? You know, the year isn't over. You know, they say it's not over until it's over, you know. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Do you want to start a book? Do you want to lose weight? Do you want to you know, rekindle a relationship with someone? Do you want to start, you know, something? What is on your heart? What have you been putting off for so long? You know, what have you been putting off for so long? So yeah, guys, that I'm going to leave it there. We'll be back tomorrow. If you have enjoyed this, if you feel like something that I've shared here today is going to benefit someone, help me with this challenge. Help me build my subscribers. Help me build my likes. Help me build my watch time. La di da di da di da di da 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 da. And all of that beautiful stuff. share this video with someone, share it with someone, share it on your timeline, share it on your on your social media platform, and let people know that actually, listen, I just want to say, if you know anyone that's had a C-section and is fearful of experiencing a natural birth, yeah, get them to contact me. And because sometimes people just need that extra support. You know, people say to me, Sarah, all the time, Sarah, you should be a midwife, or you should be a doula, or you should be helping to support people alongside in pregnancy. And for me, that's, you know, that's something I'd love to do. So if you know anyone that is pregnant right now and that's the outcome, that's what they're about to do, and they might not want to do it, you know, share this video with them. Hi, Miss I Can Win. Share this video with them and let them know that, you know, that the outcome that the professionals want, because like Frankie said, who's a professional herself in the industry, they want to make life easier for themselves. You know, it's not always about the patient sometimes. So yeah. Guys, I'm gonna go. I'm going to love and leave you until tomorrow. I will be sharing the topic tomorrow, not today. Thank you so much. I love each and every one of you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the laughter. Thank you for the joy, and God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. Bye, guys. Thank you.